This was definitely the worst kind of wet nurse. No one had ever asked him to heal him because his healing skills looked like an oblique point. If he asked him to cast an enhancement spell, the target would be suddenly killed instantly. If anyone has such a wet nurse, I'm afraid that 9 lives will not be enough. Unfortunately, Alvin, the male protagonist, was a super unlucky guy. He met a unicorn bear just after leaving the novice village, and it turned out that he was no match at all. Just as he was in a stalemate, a dark elf physician happened to pass by and ask him if he needed help. Alvin said, "Nonsense. If he didn't do anything, I would die." Alvin told the unicorn bear to wait for a moment, and then immediately slammed the dark elf. In the end, the dark elf actually cried and called Alvin for bullying the little girl. It turned out that his name was Kara, a dark elf healer, and he had never teamed up with anyone else before.
All right, I'll do it. I'm feeling confident, yelling there. What's she talking about? No Hanamitani on the dealer.
Let's go. No Maggie, no dog soda on it.
Therefore, Alvin asked him to give himself a strengthened buff, but he planned to run away immediately after defeating the unicorn bear, staying as far away from this crazy woman as possible. Unexpectedly, Kara's hand trembled and cursed him. Once he was 300 meters away from Kara, Alvin would die suddenly on the spot. Alvin instantly collapsed, and the two quarreled again. The unicorn bear was helpless and quickly advised the two of them to stop quarreling. This was something that Alvin couldn't fix again. Why are even monsters qualified to participate in their discussions? As a result, Kara said that the life of monsters is also life, and the unicorn bear should also enjoy human rights. After this nonsense argument, Alvin was finally convinced. However, Alvin also said that although Kara was 72 years old, she was equivalent to 14 or 15 years old in humans, while the unicorn bear had lived 324 years. So she was considered their grandmother, so she had to speak politely. It's late at night when Alvin wakes up and finds himself at the house of the unicorn, who tells him to thank Carla properly because Ali says he should be dead. However, Carla stayed up all night and cast this magic to save him. Alvin wanted to thank him, but Kara cried guilty. Although he cured Alvin's injury, Alvin's face was disfigured. The unicorn lent Alvin a mirror to remind him to be mentally prepared, however.
Scary motor door and you not to get out.
I think she was told you I'm a little nothing cooking my...
After putting on the armor, Alvin discovered that the unicorn had a collection of weapons and equipment, all of which were spoils obtained by defeating adventurers when he was young. Carla took a fancy to a hammer and staff, so she was shamelessly leaving. When leaving, the unicorn bear stuck to them and asked for another bowl. Alvin couldn't bear to watch it and promised to come back to challenge often in the future. The unicorn bear burst into tears and laughed. As soon as he left Mama Bear's house, Alvin felt confused. It turned out that they were still a whole night away from town, but now it was too embarrassed to go back. Therefore, the two novice adventurers set up camp in the wild. Alvin suggested to be vigilant, take turns at night, and then went to sleep. But Carla wanted to sing a lullaby for him, and said that our dark elves' lullabies were beautiful. How can lullabies be so wild? So Carla changed her genre. The next day, Alvin finally couldn't resist in Kara. It turns out that Alvin has never seen Kara cast healing magic before, and in order to verify Kara's strength, he asks him to cast Kara once. He wanted to agree, but Alvin didn't need treatment right now, so he could only break 2 ribs first. Alvin had no choice but to ask him to put on a strengthening spell. Kara looked a little nervous, claiming that she had not used this kind of magic for a long time, and her hands were very good. Still, Alvin forced him to do it. Then, in order to prove that she could do it, Kara agreed, but asked Alvin to stand away. However, this magic didn't look like a good thing. Alvin was so frightened that he hurriedly dodged it. As a result, the mushroom monster that hit the trick killed the opponent suddenly on the spot. But not long after, the mushroom monster miraculously stood up again. It turned out that Kara did cast strengthening magic. Although the mushroom monster was in great pain after being recruited, it became stronger after turning around the gate of hell. However, he never expected that he was only strengthened, and the taste became chewy, and in the end, it would only become even more delicious. Saitankara looked at him as if he were visiting a grace. Finally, in order not to be eaten, the mushroom monster decided to fight Kara one-on-one. In order to prove his strength, Alvin decided to use his strongest Nirvana skill. Yet Alvin didn't give up. Though defeated, he used his injuries to get quality magic from Kara. Her spell seemed like a curse. Furious, Alvin asked him to cast it correctly. After a set of operations, it just didn't have any therapeutic effect. Alvin accused Kara of being incompetent, but he said it was because the gods didn't want to save Alvin, and it had nothing to do with him. Eventually, the two men continue on their journey, and the mushroom monster decides to follow them as well. Seeing this pair of partners, a wet nurse who can't treat and a warrior who can't even beat mushrooms, the mushroom monster can't stand it anymore, fearing that something will happen to them in the wild, so he decided, accompanying them all the way to protect them. This really makes people laugh and cry. Then, the three-person team finally decided to challenge the first dungeon in their lives and chose this novice dungeon, but when they were about to enter, they were stopped by the magic eye guarding the gate. The magic eye asked to check their attributes and confirm whether they met the novice standards. When Devil Eye saw Alvin's level, he was almost frightened to death. He had never seen a level 100 novice before. This was too adorable. After entering the city, Alvin decisively stepped into the trap, becoming the first person to step into the trap since the city was founded. Although the thick cushion underneath didn't hurt him, his heart was very hurt. Carla comforted him by handing him a handkerchief.
Wipe the eggs! The one from Hangers. That must be...
In order not to be embarrassed, Alvin took every step carefully, but soon he was hit on the head by the iron basin.
Yeah, huh?
Which point?
What?
The next second, Alvin stepped on the trap again, and the wall began to close, causing Alvin to almost pee. But the wall stopped with a gentle push, causing no threat. Meanwhile, Kara easily opened the iron door, causing Alvin to lose face. He feared pressing a button, hesitating in front of the door for half an hour.
Became old, speculate.
Hello?
The Tauren in the room were all shocked and hurriedly hosted the three of them in. He was the boss of this underground city. Knowing Alvin stepped on 3 traps, the city lord was shocked and prepared a splendid banquet for them. The three of them successfully attacked the first dungeon and awarded Kara the Best Newcomer Award. Although just a banner and a hat, it meant a lot to their team's first adventure. The three continued their adventure. Within 5 minutes, the mushroom monster got lost, eyeing a butterfly. When she arrived at the hotel, Kara began to talk again, calling the hotel manager a pig. He got angry and transformed into an orc.
My phone is so expensive, people call me Pikapi.
Me, Mork, give me a ghost.
He immediately started to beat them. Alvin couldn't stand it anymore. After learning the store manager had never done anything bad and added anti-fatigue potions to travelers, Alvin asked Kara to help quickly. The next day, Alvin got a big cart and took Kara on the road. As a result, he saw an old lady who had fallen down halfway. He hurriedly stepped forward to help him up and asked him with concern if he was injured. On the surface, the old lady thanked him gratefully, but she lowered her head and revealed a sneer. It turned out that he was a witch hiding his identity, preparing to find an opportunity to kill Alvin and Kara. Then, he handed Alvin a bottle of poison, saying that it was some kind of fatigue-relieving potion. He hoped that Alvin would not dislike it and definitely drink it. Alvin didn't think much about it. He immediately wanted to unscrew the cap of the bottle and drink it, but he couldn't open it because he was wearing a handguard. At this moment, Kara kindly helped him, but his strength was too weak. He tried several times but failed. In the end, he smashed the potion in a hurry. In order to throw the blame, Kara said that the bottle of potion was actually poison, so he deliberately broke it. As a result, Summercat happened to meet a dead mouse and he was fooled. The witch naturally refused to admit defeat easily and decided to try another dose. He pretended to shed tears, saying that Alvin looked like his deceased son for many years and invited them to dinner at home. Then he tried to poison Alvin and Kara with poisonous tea, but he didn't expect that Kara accidentally fell down and spilled the poisonous tea on the witch herself. Alvin quickly apologized for Kara. Although the witch was furious in her heart, she still resisted it on the surface. Then she took out a poisonous candle, saying it was incense to relax them.
Hungry!
Carla quickly made an excuse, saying that she was too aware of fire prevention, and she couldn't help throwing water at the sight of the flames. The witch suppressed her anger once again. She only said that it was okay on the surface, but in the next second, she brought out a plate of dark dishes. Want to see the two eat these obvious poisons? Alvin wasn't stupid. He said that even pigs wouldn't eat this thing. Carla disapproves that he has a magic that can make any food delicious.
Don't blame this man.
But Kara refused to give up, and instead planned to borrow the witch's kitchen to show off her skills. After that, he called out the elk and mushroom monster and asked him to arrange all kinds of vegetables around the witch in a circle. Then, he snapped his fingers and the monster instantly pounced on the witch and swallowed him in one gulp. A few seconds later, the witch spat out the witch again and he changed from an old lady to a young and beautiful appearance. The witch's face was filled with shock, and she couldn't help but ask Kara what the hell was doing. Kara said it was her adoptive father. Then they bid farewell to the witch and went on their journey. As a result, just 2 steps away, I met a new thief. When I came up, I said that I opened this mountain and planted this tree. If I wanted to make this mistake and stay behind to buy road money, others ignored him at all, and the little girl was disappointed.
I want you to be upset. I want you to be upset. I want you to be upset.
In order to teach him to be a qualified thief, Kara is willing to be his hostage and let him practice his skills. Then let Alvin use the shock skill.
You know this.
After that, as Pei-Li, who watched the boring performance, Kara sent a bag of luggage to the thief girl, but happy. Only Alvin's injured world was born. Then, the three of them continued to advance, and soon encountered a terrifying rock giant. As the only tank character in the team, Alvin stood at the front without hesitation, intending to block the enemy with his own body and buy time for his teammates to escape. Try to ask Kara if there are any strengthening spells that can increase his attack power or defense. Kara thought that with Alvin's combat power, no matter how much he adds buffs, it will be useless. However, he thought of a ceremony. As long as he performed it successfully, he could successfully retreat from the enemy. However, this ceremony required Alvin to pray to the gods. Under Kara's persuasion, they actually succeeded in turning enemies into friends with the stone giant. On parting, the three shook hands with the giant to say goodbye, and then continued on their journey. It wasn't far before they realized that something seemed to be missing, and the mushroom monster seemed to be gone again. Just when they were in a hurry, the stone giant came panting and told them that something big had happened to the mushroom monster and told them to hurry and have a look. It turned out that the mushroom monster was accidentally bitten by a poisonous snake. Now it has been deeply poisoned and is lying on the ground dying. Kara frowned and said that there is only one way to do this situation, and that is to let the mushroom monster spit out the poison. Then, with all her strength, Carla slammed into the mushroom monster's throat, forcing him to spit out all the poison. The mushroom monster finally recovered its health, but he didn't expect that Alvin would fall straight down because of the poisonous gas inhaled. Now it was his turn to die. At this moment, the weather began to rain heavily again, so everyone had to go to the nearby wooden house to take shelter from the rain. In desperation, Kara had to change into formal clothes and pray to the gods for a long time before she saved Alvin. Although Alvin thought he could wake up, 80% of them had nothing to do with Kara's prayer, but he thanked him very gratefully. After all, Kara did work hard, and there was hard work without credit. Unexpectedly, Kara, who was praised for the first time, was so shy that her ears even turned red. It was so cute. The next day, the trio continued their journey, and this time, they actually encountered a zombie. Alvin originally planned to kill the zombie in front of him with one sword. Maybe the zombie wouldn't give up easily even if it couldn't get up. That kind of hard work deeply touched Kara, and Kara actually said that such inspirational zombies should not be killed casually. With everyone's encouragement, the zombie miraculously stood up. At this point, we had to dig a hole and bury the zombies. As a priesthood, Kara finally took a rare seriousness and solemnly prayed for the zombies. Unexpectedly, the zombies were resurrected again. He said that he couldn't die after his revenge had not been avenged. It turned out that he was the leader of the zombie dance team with nameless purpose, leading other zombies to practice dancing every day, until one day, a terrible necromancer suddenly arrived and conquered all the zombies with his excellent dancing posture. Now everything he had was taken away by the other party, and he had to leave the cemetery. Now his greatest wish was to seek revenge on that necromancer. In order to help the zombies realize this wish, Alvin and Kara had to go to the necromancer, but they didn't expect that the other party turned out to be a beautiful woman named Maria. Alvin immediately hesitated. He felt that such a person would be embarrassed to cause trouble, but Kara had no intention of letting him go. She was determined to avenge the zombies. The zombie sees that Kara wants to be unfavorable to Maria and instantly prepares to fight Alvin and the others desperately. Actually, Alvin didn't want to fight Maria, but seeing the fierce appearance of the zombies and being a tank in the team, he had to protect Kara.
Yeah, your sister had a baby.
What? Uh-huh. What cry, huh?
Unexpectedly, Kara pushed Alvin down with a backhand and became good friends with zombies. The zombies planned to turn Alvin into an undead and guard Maria with them, but Maria didn't want to do so she sneaked into the cell and planned to let Alvin go. Faced with a bunch of keys, Maria didn't know which one to use, and Carla approached him to teach him how to choose the right one. As a result, the more they talked, the more they hit it off. They simply left Alvin and ran outside to have tea and chat. In the end, it was the mushroom monster who helped to let Alvin out. Then they learned the reason why Maria came here. It turned out that his sister especially liked to play out of body, but after an out of body trip, she got lost and couldn't come back. The reason why Maria came to this purpose was to find his sister's soul. Carla said that she could summon spirits, and she only needed Maria to imagine her sister's appearance to summon her back. However, the moment Kara activated his magic, the sky suddenly became dark with dark clouds. In the next second, a female ghost was summoned, almost scaring Alvin to death. Just as he was about to lead the team to escape for his life,
How much to love him?
then Maria took out her sister's body and wanted her soul to become one as soon as possible. Alvin was also shocked. The difference between soul and body appearance was too great. Seeing her body that had been wandering for a long time, my sister's soul immediately flew back in excitement. However, the moment his soul returned to its place, his body suddenly began to tremble violently, as if some kind of conflict had occurred between his soul and his body. Looking at this scene, Kara quickly used the physician's healing technique. Although the movements were rough, the effect was immediate. Ellie then woke up. After seeing off the sisters, the zombie was also taken back to the cemetery by his companions, while the Alvin trio were ready to go and embarked on the journey again. As a result, before he took 2 steps, Alvin lost his longsword. Although Kara thought that Alvin was so weak that it didn't matter whether he had a sword or not, seeing how depressed he was, she was still ready to help him get the sword back, so she took out a crystal ball from her bag. Alvin thought that Kara was going to cast some kind of divination magic, but he talked to the crystal ball for a long time, but he didn't even react at all. Angry, Carla picked up the crystal ball and threw it out. According to him, this was a special tracking technique, and the place where the crystal ball landed was Alvin's cheap place. Alvin had 10,000 misfortunes in his heart. He obviously lost his temper and threw the ball. Arvin tried to buy a new sword, but Kara stopped him. I thought this little girl would comfort herself. When they found the crystal ball, they found that he had been broken and smashed a stone statue that sealed the monster. As a result, Medusa inside escaped. Kara immediately covered her eyes and warned Alvin not to look at him, or he would turn to stone. At first, Alvin was quite obedient and quickly closed his eyes. As a result, the more Kara told him not to look, the more he wanted to look. In the end, he couldn't help but sneak a glance and was petrified. After hearing Kara say that he was no different from the stone, he was so angry that he turned back to his original state. This time, Medusa became anxious and hurriedly asked Alvin to look at her again. Medusa tried several times but failed, so anxious that she almost cried. After being petrified again, Carla thought it was funny, but Alvin was so angry that he changed again. At this moment, the tree goblin guarding the forest sensed that the seal was destroyed. He hurriedly came over to take a look. After discovering that Alvin could handle the petrification magic, he begged him to help defeat Medusa, or at least seal him back again. The tree goblin who was guarding the forest felt that the seal had been destroyed, and after discovering that Alvin could handle the petrification magic, he had begged him to help him defeat Medusa. Although Alvin wasn't afraid of being petrified, his fighting power was really not that good. In the end, he lost the moment he fought Medusa, so he quickly said that this was all the reason why he didn't have a sword. When the tree goblin heard this, he immediately said that there was a holy sword in the forest and wanted Alvin to try to pull it out. It was said that the holy sword of the brave had been stuck in the altar for hundreds of years, but no one could pull it out. As a result, he realized that the person who had buried the holy sword had turned the opposite direction, leaving the tip of the sword outside. If he could pull it out, there would be a ghost. However, Alvin decided to try it first. Because there was no hilt, he could only use both hands to hold the sword. In fact, there was no force point on the smooth sword. However, the moment he came into contact with the holy sword, he felt that he could pull it out. Could he really be a legendary brave man? In the end, Alvin had indeed pulled out the holy sword. It was too powerful. With the holy sword, Alvin can finally fight Medusa, and Medusa is also looking forward to it, wanting to see if Alvin can defeat him. So Kara seriously added a buff to Alvin for the first time, saying that this buff can improve his defense and make him not afraid of any attack for a period of time. Alvin felt that there was no change in his body. In order to prove the effect, Kara gave him a slap. Alvin was surprised to find that it didn't hurt. The tree goblin also wanted to try it, but he was half exhausted, but Alvin was fine at all. Then he finally wanted to fight Medusa, but at the critical moment, Kara actually said that the time for the buff was up. Moreover, after the buff failed, the damage he had suffered before would be doubled back. Alvin was so miserable that he almost didn't die of pain, but fortunately he still did. Kara's quality magic circle saved his life, and Medusa was very curious. Why did Kara want to team up with a weak chicken like Alvin?
Hey, brother, don't go fight Nosy.
Then Alvin was getting better, and he came up and asked Kara if she was speaking ill of him again. The mouse goblin wanted to repeat what Kara had just said, but was interrupted by the shy Kara on the spot. The mouse goblin also kept this secret with interest. Then the two resumed their journey, this time facing a mansion occupied by evil spirits, and it is said that anyone who entered could not come out again. To be on the safe side, Kara specially found the thief ghost who died here to inquire about the situation. Ghost Anna told Kara that this spirit was terrible, so don't go in. Kara didn't accept it when she heard it. After all, she said that she was also a priesthood. Is it still reasonable to be afraid of ghosts? So I immediately brushed the ghost house alone.
Mary.
At the very least, the resentment spirit should wear the cat's servant clothes and then pretend to be happy to welcome him back. Unexpectedly, the resentful spirit did it completely after hearing this, but Kara was not satisfied with this. She felt that the resentful spirit's smile was not sincere enough, and it was not enough to just wear a maid's clothes. She had to have a maid's heart. So after some strict special training, the resentful spirit finally became a lovely maid, and no one would be scared to death by seeing him again. From this point of view, Kara really did a good thing. Therefore, Moon Spirit no longer stayed in the ghost house, but chose to take the adventure with Kara. In the subsequent adventures, Moon Spirit helped Kara at any time. Because Moon Spirit had powerful storage magic, Kara directly used him as a prop box, which was too powerful. Then the group continued on the road. As a result, halfway through the road, a dwarven girl suddenly found Alvin and handed him a letter of help. It turned out that the Dark Archmage had attacked the dwarven tribe with the intention of capturing him. A holy relic that we have guarded for generations used to destroy the world. The girl hoped that Alvin could stop the Black Mage, but the problem was that the Black Mage not only had superior mana, but also had a powerful army of magic soldiers under his command. At best, Alvin's side was a poor team fighting others with their heads. But if you don't go, the world may be destroyed. After a lot of struggle, Alvin decided to stop the Black Mage. However, when they arrived, the dwarf village had already been ransacked and all the villagers had been taken away. Unwilling, Kara decided to use her unique probing magic to summon the little angel and find the weakest wounded. As a result, the little angel flew in a circle and all circled Elvin. It turns out that Elvin is the weakest person here. Isn't this too embarrassing? Fortunately, Kara found out in time that the dwarves were all locked up in the Black Mage's castle cell. So they split into two groups, and Mushroom and Anna stayed behind to protect the girl. Alvin, Kara, and the Vengeful Spirit and headed to the castle. The Vengeful Spirit packed Alvin and Kara into their backpacks, led them in, and finally found the imprisoned dwarves. The girl's grandfather told Alvin that the dwarf's holy relic was a crown with powerful divine power, which could dispel dark magic. It was for this crown that the Black Mage attacked the village. Grandpa told Alvin where the holy relic was hidden, hoping that he could take it out and use it to defeat the Black Mage. However, Alvin always unconsciously stepped on traps. Even though he had the map given by his grandfather, which indicated the locations of all the traps, he still wiped them all. If it weren't for the divine assistance of the Academy Spirit, he would have died countless times long ago. But fortunately, I found the crown in the end. As soon as Elvin was about to leave with the crown, the Black Mage appeared. It turns out that their actions have been discovered long ago. The protagonist, Tuan, is just a wife who helps him find the holy relic. The battle immediately began. Elvin put on his crown to use his strength to fight the Black Mage, but he was easily knocked unconscious, and Kara was captured. Seeing that the protagonist group was in a desperate situation, Yueling had no choice but to flee with Alvin in a coma, leaving Kara in a cell. After fleeing, Alvin wants to give up at one point because he finds that the curse Kara gave him has failed, meaning he never needs to follow Kara again. But just as he was about to leave, the crown whispered to him. This was all because today was a full moon night, and the power of the crown was limited, so it couldn't exert its true strength. But as long as Kara cast healing magic on him, the power of the crown can be restored. Therefore, defeating the Black Mage gave Alvin confidence. Then, he decided to go back to rescue Kara and save the world. So they sneak into the castle again, rescue Kara, and begin to charge the healing magic with the crown. Just as the healing was almost complete, the Black Mage suddenly appeared and the battle broke out again. The Black Mage summoned the magic soldiers to try to stop the protagonist group, but they never expected that the monsters would also send reinforcements. Along the way, the friends met by the protagonist group came to support them one after another, and Alvin also used the power of the crown to launch a head-on confrontation with the Black Mage. Now, he was finally able to fight 50-50 with the big boss. At this critical moment, Kara unleashed an enhanced spell, but the secret mage actually wanted to grab the buff.
Then look, what do you want me to do? You see,
Amitabha.
After defeating the opponent, Alvin realized that the opponent he had been fighting for a long time was actually a retired old man, but he really couldn't be happy. But now that Kara's curse has been lifted, he can completely disband the squad and run away. But at Kara's request, the crown told him that the curse might take effect at any time. That is to say, he had to continue his adventure with Kara. So the team embarked on another adventure. This ceremony is super troublesome, and the first season is over. On the whole, the plot of the show is easy and funny. Alvin, who is unlucky, and Kara, who is poisonous, can be said that the whole show is about two people talking crosstalk. Friends who like this kind of humorous spit and easy adventure must not miss it. As for what adventures Alvin and Kara will have next, we can only wait until the second season. Finally, how can I care about my sister's concern and praise? Let's see you next time.